Hey folks, this is Kim. Welcome to livemorenow.net. If you are currently facing some life changes or pursuing a new business and possibly facing some challenges, then this video is for you. My mom and I were recently having a conversation about some of our new endeavors, our photography business, livemorenow.net, and they too are facing some pretty big life changes as they quickly approach retirement. They're looking to buy an RV and do the whole RV thing. And of course, along the way, they are stumbling upon obstacle after obstacle and feeling the frustration. This led to sort of a philosophical conversation between her and I about at what point do we need to look at a goal and scrap it and realize, you know what, this just isn't right. We're trying to stick a square peg in a round hole, and all the while possibly missing other opportunities that we're not seeing because we're focused on the wrong goal. But on the contrary, you always hear like, oh, you got to persist to achieve your dreams. So perhaps it's the fear of the unknown, or the closer your goal comes to becoming a reality, all of a sudden you're filled with fears of change. And how do you know the difference? How do you know which direction to take? When we first started livemorenow.net, even though I told myself that it was going to be a year or two before we could make any assessments, we posted our first videos and they just sat there with just a handful of views, most of which were me or Paul or our parents. And that's really kind of when frustration kicks in. So what do you do when, after you've set this exciting goal, you're all excited, full steam ahead, and then 3, 6, 12 months down the road, it feels like you've made very little progress. If you saw our most recent video, then you know that we're starting a photography business, and we too have faced some disappointments and obstacles. One of our first gigs for event photography was for a charitable event, and we got up at the crack of dawn, make sure we got there really early. We were super excited about it, only to learn upon our arrival that they had accidentally double booked 2 photographers. So what do? I know I keep pushing my favorite meditation app, headspace.com, but I can't emphasize enough how helpful this has been for me. They have a particular pack about acceptance, and during this particular series, there's a lot of guided meditation that talks about resistance. And he challenges us to ask ourselves, what or who are you resisting right now? I personally love this because now that I'm in the habit of asking myself, I ask myself this all the time, even when I'm stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic, feeling so frustrated I'm ready to ditch my car and just start walking. But when you're pursuing a goal that you have previously set for yourself and you're now filled with all kinds of doubts, we need to be asking ourselves, what is it that we are resisting? Perhaps, again, like I said before, it's the fear of the unknown, and we need to push through that. Or perhaps it's fear of admitting failure, and we don't want to scrap what has become a bad idea because we don't want to admit to ourselves that what feels like failure. Now, this is something very personal that you're going to have to discover on your own. And as you kind of get in the habit of asking yourself these questions, an answer may not reveal itself immediately, but for me, if you just kind of keep working at it, like I said before, I found it to be very helpful. Another thing that we can do is create a plan. I know it sounds like a big cliche, but we need to create a plan, work the plan, and adjust the plan. As I'm researching business planning, one of my favorite quotes that I found in a book talks about how most people expect that a plan is going to tell us what to do. And when in reality, most businesses don't actually follow the plan, but that doesn't mean that they stop planning. I'm pretty sure Microsoft didn't say, you know what, this planning stuff is for the birds, because we never really stick to it. Actually, the benefit of planning is not the finished plan, it is the planning. It's very important to continuously plan. It's helped Paul and I kind of prioritize a few things. For example, before we could set up our online print ordering program, we had to have a business account open. Okay, so that's step number 1 and step number 2. So, if you can plan out those steps to the best of your ability, obviously realizing that you need to be flexible because they will need to be adjusted along the way. And finally, as you're facing struggles, Get involved, whether it's through an online social networking group or perhaps a community group. You want to try to find somebody who has already done what you're trying to do and can perhaps help you prevent some of the pitfalls that they faced, or better yet, give you some of that encouragement you need when you're really feeling down and out. So these are just some of the things that I've learned along the way as we're starting to develop Craft Digital, but I really feel like they can apply to anything. My vlogging channel, livemorenow.net, perhaps you're starting a small business, or maybe you're like my parents and you're facing some big life changes, feeling overwhelmed with all of the unknowns and all the long list of things that you need to tackle. Hopefully you'll find some of these tips helpful. And my final word is that you need to continuously remind yourself of why you originally started this goal. Write it down, put it on your refrigerator, and hopefully that can help guide you through some of the turmoil along the way. Whether that might mean scrapping the goal altogether. You might realize a year has gone by and your life has changed, and what you wanted to do a year ago is now what you want to do today. Either way, hopefully it'll help guide you towards your ultimate mission. So thank you so much, folks, for visiting livemorenow.net. If you are new to Live More Now, we post new videos every Sunday, usually revolving around health, wellness, ways to improve our lives. So please click subscribe to receive any updates. Thanks again for visiting.